Welcome to Speedy Walkthroughs, where we show just the important stuff for beating the game. For first time viewers, this will look different to a normal walkthrough. It shows just the essentials so you don't need to spend a long time watching this video. Today we're playing Spyro Enter the Dragonfly, otherwise known as Spyro 4. The footage will be from the Gamecube version, but this walkthrough should work no matter what version you're playing on. Before we start, if you find this video useful, consider subscribing to keep up to date. It helps out the channel a whole bunch and there should be a new walkthrough out each week. Also, feel free to leave a comment if you have any other games you'd like me to cover. So just as we start out the game here, I'll put the controls on screen. So you can move with the D-pad, you jump with the X button, you charge with the square button. I'd be charging most of the time, it makes you go a bit faster. You can breathe fire with the circle button, and then you've got lots of other controls that aren't used as much further down there. So we'll start out the game itself. There's sort of two main collectibles. We got the dragonflies, like that green guy there, and then we've also got the gems. So with the dragonflies, you do need bubble breath to catch them, and you trap them in a bubble, so just be aware of that. I will be showing you where all the gems and dragonflies are, so try and follow along and make sure your gem counts stay the same as mine. Sometimes they may be a little bit different, but as long as you're getting all the gems, particularly in those tricky places that are easy to miss, then you should be fine. So we're sort of just going around here. That statue there in the middle is where we get new breath abilities, such as the bubble breath. And you can see that with our flame breath, we're able to hit the sheep with that. So pretty much throughout the game, there's going to be these sort of grey stones, one that you can see there. So if we pick that up, then go to the statue, we'll unlock our new breath ability. It's going to be L1 to swap breaths, and now we can swap between fire and bubble. So if we go back to that dragonfly there and bubble it, then you'll be able to catch the dragonfly. Moving on, we're just going to go around and collect all the gems that we can. Usually in Spyro games, I like to collect all the gems in the hub world before going into any levels, and that just makes me sure that I've collected everything that I can. Sometimes you can get everything, other times you can't, but it's good to just grab all the gems. Sometimes gems are inside enemies too, so you got to watch out for that. Also, when we glide across the gap here, you're pressing A to jump and A to glide again, or like the X button if you're playing PS2, and then you're pressing the top button, so that would be triangle on a PS2 controller. To sort of do a little hover at the end of the glide. We've also got these gates here which will activate a special ability for a certain time, and we're going to try and take down all these scarecrows in that time. There's a few just around the lake here. And one more just at the end there. Once we do that, we're going to get a dragonfly for that. And we'll continue onwards. I'm going to go into this area and talk to this guy, and then we can hop onto that stone there. So we're going into the level itself now. Alright, into the level. So we'll have this conversation here. These guys are frozen. So first of all, we're just going to go around and get gems around the starting point. All the gems around here. Make sure you're killing enemies because sometimes they have gems inside, like that guy there. And there's also dragonflies around, so whenever you see one of those, just remember it's L to swap to bubble, and then you want to bubble the dragonflies. I'd keep on flame if you're not trying to catch a dragonfly though. So some gems in the water, those are going to be pretty easy to miss. And once you got all the gems, you can head across the bridge and flame these guys. You'll also notice different enemies have different weaknesses. So some of the enemies you do have to charge and others you do have to flame. You can usually tell, so if it's got like metal armor, then flame won't be super effective. You have to charge that one instead. Make sure you pick up that stone there that unlocks another breath. And whenever you come across these icy guys, you've just got to flame them. So it's going all around the ground here. Collecting as many gems as we can, and when you're ready, just hop across these islands. There's a dragonfly down there, so make sure you bubble that. Alright, so we're going to hop up and go across these islands. We're going into like a little sub area. If you ever see those doors, they're just sub areas, so you can just dip in and out. I would encourage you to collect all the gems in that main area around the sub area first, because when you come back, all the enemies are going to be respawned, and then sometimes you don't remember which enemies you've gotten rid of already. So with this, it's sort of like a little time challenge. You got to go through and get each object. So now we're just going through and flaming these lanterns. Take note of the order that I've done this in. This order is going to help you do it very quickly, because there is a time limit, and if you don't do it quick enough, you don't get what you need to. So we get a dragonfly for doing that. And we're going to do this second challenge, which is flying through here. If you ever see the stars, you do want to go to the stars and you'll get a little boost. Just make sure that you still fly through all the rings when you do that. So the stars are sometimes like a little detour, but they're usually worth it just to get the boosts. Sometimes I find that flying lower goes a little bit faster as well. So when you can do that, it's sometimes good too. Don't overdo it though, because you want to take a direct path to the rings whenever you got them. Okay, once you got this dragonfly, that's good. And we can pretty much just leave this area. Unlike the previous games, there isn't like a hidden thing to grab in that area, it's just the 2 dragonflies. Alright, so when you're ready, we just want to glide over here and see if you can do like a glide hover to get on top of that thing. And you want to flame down the kite. Alright, working our way around. Just grabbing all the gems. There's some gems there, if you turn around, they can be a little bit tricky. And we want to talk to Moneybags here, so we have to pay him to activate this path. Glide across here, we've got a dragonfly there. And see if you can do like a glide hover to get on top of that thing. You have to come from a little bit further back because you need to be gliding for a little bit before you hover. But then we should get that kite down there. Go back across Moneybags Bridge. And we flame that guy and grab the gems around this area. And try and chase this dragonfly down and bubble it. Once we've done that, we've got a new sub area to go into. And we're in a tank now. So I'll pop the tank controls on screen there. They're a little bit awkward to try and use, but they're the ones you need to be using. Alright, so we'll go through, take out any of these big tool, like bamboo-y structure things, and you want to hit the target there. Any of the stones you need to take out, and any other tanks you also need to take out. You're looking for targets to open these big doors, and sometimes they're hidden behind things. And try as best you can to hit the tanks from a distance, because otherwise they'll hit you instead. And we get all 21. So we get a dragonfly for doing that. We say no to trying the challenge again, and then we're going to head back to the main area. Alright, once we're back here, we're going to go and get these gems around the corner. There's a dragonfly there to catch, make sure you got that one. And we want to do one of those hovers to get up to the kite there. We can talk to that guy as well. Going up across here, one more guy to melt. And we want to glide down here. Don't go into that other door yet. Just keep going down, getting all these gems. Alright, so I'm sort of just going back through the level. I actually didn't talk to all these before, so you've got to make sure you actually talk to all of them to get the dragonfly. And once you've done that, you can just pause and exit the level. Make sure it shows you a total of all gems collected and all dragonflies collected before you leave. So you'll see those totals up the top. You can also get them from the pause menu too. You want to put the other stone into the statue there, and that'll give us some more breath that we can use. And when you're ready, just go through to this area. By swapping to the correct breath for the gate, you can sort of get through the gate there. Alright, going around this area now, grabbing some more gems. Good dragonfly there to collect. And we're also going to learn how to climb there as well. Climbing will help us get up to one of the levels. And that guy wants 45 dragonflies to go into his level, so we're not going to be doing that one yet. Okay, so we've got a lightning breath challenge. We've got to go and hit all these poles with lightning. So across to those two up the top there. Grab that one. You should have 4 left by the time you come back to this section. One there, and then one across on this island. Get a dragonfly for doing that. Grab all the gems around this section. And we're also going to go swimming here to grab some more gems. As I said before, you're generally trying to get all the gems in a hub area before moving on, or at least in a big section that you know you've explored, because otherwise enemies are going to respawn and you won't be sure which ones you've killed to get gems from. When you're ready, jump up all through here, and we want to talk to this guy who will open up the level. We can head in. Now at this point I'll mention that at the end of the game, you do unlock a method to point to any gems you've missed. You can click down the analog sticks and have sparks point to missing gems. You do have to beat the final boss of the game to unlock that though. So if you're missing like a couple of gems from a level, don't stress too much about it. You can come back in and get those later. But I really would recommend trying to get all of them on your first go around so that you don't have to revisit a bunch of levels at the end. But be aware, you can point to missing gems if you're really stuck on where a missing one is. Alright, so we're going around this first area here, just collecting more and more gems. Make sure you dip down into this section, and then you can collect all the gems around here. Go around here grabbing a dragonfly from that bit there. And we're going to work our way back up once we've done that. We go through the tunnel here, chase the dinosaur guys. And when you're ready, it's electricity on that thing there, which will activate a platform. I'm not quite ready to use that platform yet. I'm going to go and get all the gems from down here first. We want to talk to this guy. Anyone you see me talking to, quite often you do actually need to have that conversation to activate something in game. So just be aware of that. Make sure you talk to everyone I'm talking to. Alright, dip down there to grab some more gems, and we're going to go into this secret door now. Alright, so we've got this sort of mini game thing. You want to glide across here. And you want to ground pound all the buttons, so that's a jump and then the top button there to do that. We want to electricity all these things. I definitely recommend going against the way it's rotating so that you can get to them a little bit quicker. And once you get up there, you can take care of that dinosaur guy. Say no to him for doing it another time, and then we're going to leave this area. Alright, once you've done that, you can climb up this ladder, grab the dragonfly. Take care of any dinosaurs and things like that. And we'll work our way down. Alright, just zipping around here, grabbing some more of these jars. The jars themselves you need to charge and rather than flame because they're made of like a metal material. I'm going to get this power up and then take care of the scarecrows again. So they're all sort of around this area. And the hay bales there you can actually get rid of. So the hay bales in that like barn door. Alright, when you're ready, go up there. And we're going to go into this area. Okay, so we got this UFO thing. We can catch the cows and bring them back into the pen. So try and not let the other UFOs get the cows. So there we go. And there we are. We get a dragonfly for completing that. And we do have to do this again. So same process as before. Try and shoot down all the other UFOs as they're trying to get the cows. And there we are, a second dragonfly from doing this. Alright, so we're back into the level here. So work your way up to this next section here. You'll notice that I got all the gems now. And if you inflame these guys, the door will open. We got a dragonfly there that we're going to get. And we're just going to go out back again this way. These things have activated now. So we want to go and hit those with the breath. My game's glitching out on me here. The ground's disappeared for some reason. But there it is. You probably noticed by now that this game is a bit glitchy. We got a dragonfly to get there. Charge all the cows if you can. And you can talk to this guy who will thank you for charging all the cows. If you're missing any, he'll be sure to let you know. And there we go, we get a dragonfly for that. Now I missed doing the electric on that one there, so make sure you've done that. Work your way back through this way. There's another one of these, so use your electricity on that one. And another one, so there you go. There's another dragonfly to get down here, so that should be all 10. There we go. Alright, back into the hub world now. I'm going to go straight over here and over to this water level. So talk to this guy who'll let you in. Alright, so we'll start out here. You've got lots of statues to charge through. We're going to go underwater to get a lot of these gems. You know, it's extremely rare, but in this level I've actually had an issue where some of the gems haven't actually spawned in and then I can't get all the gems. Luckily that didn't happen to me while recording this footage, but just be conscious. It was in the main section underwater in like one of the tunnels. Alright, there we go. Talk to this guy. I'm going to go around here, charge all the jars, grab any gems. Make sure you deal with the enemies underwater here. They will have gems inside, so you got to kill all those. Down into this tunnel here. And that lets us pop up into a new section. Going to climb these ladders, talk to this guy, and work our way across. The dinosaur guys you do have to flame as well. Ground pound these switches here as well, you'll open up the doors. I'm going to go up and across. And ground pound that one. I'm going to climb up there, go through the gate. And this is just a power up that we'll have for a little while. Alright, we're going to catch Dragonfly through there. And then we're going to go into the water and grab a few missing gems that we've still got. Okay, deal with all the statues and jars there under the water to get some more gems around the place. By the way, those gates there was where I had the missing gem, so if you're missing any, that might be where it is, if it actually spawns in for you. This underwater section has a lot of cheeky gems that you have to like turn around for and make sure you don't miss. Swim back through this bit. There's another gem there. Going to grab a couple more around the floor. And glide over to this island now. Remember that top button gives you a little bit of extra height after a glide, so use that if you're stuck. And we're going to go into this second area. Alright, in here just say yes. And we're going to go across webbing all these things. So basically just have to web more than he does. And we get a dragonfly for that. Say no to trying it again and we'll head back into the main level. Alright, go back down through this section where we were before. And we want to surface. There are a couple more gems to grab. There might be some that spawned in that weren't spawned for you before. Grabbing all the jars and everything. I'm going to ground pound that switch to open up the gate. And if you talk to him, you'll get a dragonfly. Get another dragonfly here and take care of the dinosaur. I'm going to go onto the boat now as well. And there's a dragonfly to get there. If we climb up this section here, we're just going to work our way back. And there's another area to go into. Alright, so pretty much what you got to do is just copy what they do on the drums. And that'll be good, you get a dragonfly for doing that. And you actually do want to play this a second time because there's another dragonfly to get here. And there we go. Alright, now that we're out here, we're going to flame the dinosaurs and drop down through this pathway. Okay, so we want to get this power up and we want to hit the targets on these guys' heads. Can be a bit tricky. Make sure you're going into first person view for that one. And we get the dragonfly from that. Now just cleaning up any missing gems we have. So if you're missing anything, they could be in the enemies underwater. And you can see that gem there. That was the one I was talking about before. It didn't spawn in the first time, but it did again when I revisited the level from the little sub area. So watch out for that gem. Similarly, I'd missed that one red gem there, so that was the one that I was after. Make sure you got all gems and dragonflies, and we'll work our way back to the main area. Alright, once you got that, just head back along this path here. And we're going to go back out the gate that we were in before. We're going to go to this statue because we have picked up another stone for another breath there. And then we want to get all the gems up on this path, glide across here, and you would talk to this guy, and he'll let us into the next level. Alright, in this level, we're just going to get gems around the start point. And there's another sort of stone thing for another breath ability. So we'll be able to get that after this level. Alright, taking care of all the jars and gems on the side. There's a gem sort of in that dip there before you go up the staircase, so make sure you got that. That one's pretty easy to miss. There's also some gems in the water here. Alright, once you got all those, go back up that little dip I was talking about before. And out into this section. And grab gems all around this bit. And there's a little star rod to get there, so make sure you pick that one up. Alright, once you got that, go into this tunnel here, there's more gems to collect. And across onto these platforms now. Alright, ride that thing to go up onto the top of this bit. And we're going to go across here. Same thing as before, you got to electricity this thing. And once you've done that, you can just glide across here. There's a dragonfly on one of these pillars, so bubble that one. And gliding back across, we'll pick up that missing gem there. You're going to give the star rod to that guy, and then ride that up. Get rid of all these enemies, and we'll just go across the rooftops here. There's a dragonfly up there. So try and bubble it, it will try and run away from you. And we want to go up this rainbow and then electricity this thing. Alright, back into here. Alright, gliding across there, we're just getting some gems here. And we go up this bit. And then across, there's some gems to grab down the bottom and then a drive to go up. Alright, grabbing gems around the bottom here and then going up. Gonna electric that thing. And then gliding back across to this thing here. And gliding down to this one for some more gems. I'm gonna ride that up. And we want to go back across to this section. Climb up the staircase here now. And we're going to go up this bit. And then across to this island. I didn't go to this bit before. There's a dragonfly here to get, so we want to bubble that. And then there's like a staircase to come up this way. You want to talk to this guy. And we get a lightning power up. So take care of all these clouds with the lightning. Alright, once we've done that, we can just get some more gems around the edge, then go swimming underneath. Grab these jars, and we want to surface, grabbing any gems around the outside. And then we can electric that. That's our last one we needed to do. Talk to this guy, he'll give you a dragonfly. And then we want to climb up this ladder, grab the dragonfly from this bit. Climb up that and go across the cogs, and we should get to a sub area now. Okay, so we get into the plane here. We want to deal with those big ships. So my sort of strategy there was to half defeat them each time I came around. And because it's a little bit hard to deal damage to them when you're like flying into them still. There we go. So say no to him. You only get one dragonfly from that one. And then we're going to head back out. Okay, so dropping down this section here now. I'm going to grab all the gems around there and fly over to this roof here for some more gems. Go into this secret area here now. Alright, so say yes to the challenge. We're going to do all the rings first. Do all the cars. Make sure you go against the grain here so they're driving into you. That'll make it a lot faster to deal with. We go around and grab the stars now. You do have to flame those. And then once you've done that, we can just go against the grain onto these flying things here. So that's good. Next thing we have is the time trial, like the race course thing. So we want to go through the rings here. You basically have to come first in this one. So any stars that you see, do try and go through the stars. So like that one there, for example. And then you should be able to get ahead. I found that getting to third was pretty easy, and then getting to second and first was a lot more difficult. You can see just how big a gap there was between third and second. There we go. And there we go. That is a pretty tricky race to do, so I only just got in first at the end, but that's how you can approach it. Alright, once you've done that, heading out. Alright, we're going to glide back through this section here now. Running all the way back through here, up this staircase again. Now, I kind of messed up when getting this footage here. What I was supposed to do was get the gem from the electricity things before. Alright, we're going to go up here. Yeah, talk to this guy. And he'll give you a dragonfly for doing that. And work your way through this bit. This is the pesky thing about this particular Spyro game, is you do have to talk to everyone, and sometimes you forget to. Anyway, that's all the dragonflies there, so that's fixed, and then there's some gems around the side here. And that's all 800. Once you've done that, we're back out into the hub world. So you want to go to the dragon statue here, where we do get another breath ability. And then we're going to go around, grab all this stuff. Grab the gems from up here. And with our new breath ability, we can get through this gate. So there you go. Alright, grabbing all the gems around this area. There's Dragonfly to get as well. This is an ice breath challenge, so you got to find all the flames and put them out. So make sure you have 5 before you sort of leave the area. And then the last few are just around this section here. There we go. As you're going around here, you want to grab the Dragonfly and any gems. Some more gems to grab up the top here. There's a Dragonfly in this bit here. That's actually all 10 Dragonflies from the hub world. You want to talk to this guy and he'll let you into the next level. Alright, now we're in the next level here. So gem at the start there to grab. Want to go around and grab all the gems from this section. There's a Dragonfly to get there as well. So slide across the ice, grab all the gems from that bit. And again, just sliding around, grabbing a whole bunch of gems in this bit here. Down onto these steps here and up and around the towers. Alright, so jump into the cannon there and take care of all 3 of those icy bits. That'll open up some paths for you to get through. Glide down to this section here. We got some more gems to grab up and around this bit. Alright, back onto these stairs here, grabbing more gems on your way up. And we want to climb up this tower. And across here. So you want to flame breath any of those guys in the ice to melt them. And make sure you talk to this guy. Once you've done that, you can fly up on this thing and across to this island. Okay, so take care of all the ice. You also need to deal with any birds that are flying around. Now that we've got rid of the ice, you can talk to that guy. I also flamed one more bird in the air as I was flying to that cave, so there's actually 3 birds to get. Alright, one more bit of ice to get with the cannon. And flying around here. Alright, so jump into the plane here. And you got all 20 of those. So you say no, there's only one dragonfly here. When you're ready, glide across here. Melt that guy. You want to activate the firework, which will get rid of that ice up there. You want to talk to this guy. Then go up this section, you want to melt him. And glide across to melt this guy. And there's a chest there that we can get. There's a dragonfly in that chest, so that's good. We'll move on. You want to talk to the guy in front of this door, just to get the dragonfly from him. And this dragonfly to get here as well. Alright, bubble that one there as well. You got some gems to grab up here. And some gems up these stairs as well. Alright, go through this door into the next area. And we'll talk to this guy. Basically, you just want to go through all the gates here. Try not to get hit by the penguins. Gates will give you a bit more time, so they're always good to go through. Unless they're like super out of the way. And there we go. So we get the dragonfly for doing that. And we do actually have to say yes to doing it again. And there we are. And that's all 10 dragonflies for the level. Once you've done that, just charge across here. Now my missing gem was in that enemy there, so I've just picked that up and that's the level done. Alright, back in the hub world now. So we're just going to go over here, talk to this guy. He'll let you onto the carpet and that'll get us into a new level. Alright, so just down these paths, talk to him. Now with these guys, they're a bit tricky to deal with. You have to use your wing shield to reflect their attacks back at them. So yeah, it's those ones there, and you want to hold L2 and R2 at the same time. Or that's just L and R on Gamecube. That'll do your wing shield and it will reflect the attack back at them. Alright, grab all the gems around here. Again, you use your wing shield to reflect back at that guy. Same thing here. They can be a little bit tricky to deal with. It takes a few goes. Alright, when you're ready, go up into this bit here, grabbing gems all around the outside. Alright, this dragonfly up the top there, make sure you got that. And there we go, wing shield the attack back at that guy. There's a dragonfly in here to get, and a secret area off to the side. Alright, so we're in here now, grabbing all the rings first. And we're going to go and get these guys. When you're ready, head down to the path here. Make sure you go against the grain, and you can actually charge down on the ground. That makes you go a bit quicker than flying around there. And then you want to get these. If you do everything in that order, you should have quite a bit of time left. Alright, next we have the race itself. So same process as last time, you just want to get all the stars when you can. So you can go through that tunnel there to get a whole bunch of extra stars. That makes you go quite a bit faster. There we go, going through the tunnel again. And just barely making it in time. Alright, once you've done that, you want to exit that area. And we're going to go across here, grabbing any extra gems and reflecting the attacks back at that guy. Whole bunch of gems down on the ground to get here. And we're going to work our way forward, reflect back to this dude. And you want to talk to this guy. Now down here, you basically just want to swim and charge into that button there to activate it. Same thing over here. And same thing over here. Okay, once you got all four, that gate will open behind that guy. Grab any extra gems you got down the bottom that you need. And we're going to grab gems all around the outside. Couple more to grab there, and then we're going to head up. Glide into the middle, and then across here. Remember to use that top button to get a bit of extra distance out of your glide. Alright, just over onto these platforms now, reflect back to that guy. Don't go down that tunnel yet, we'll get there a little bit later. This whole area is a bit open-ended and confusing, but you want to go up the top first. Grab everything you can around here. Those gems are pretty well hidden, just a little dip down from the platform. Right, and then ride these back up. Now we're going to get anything we missed, so just down this tunnel here. Alright, over into the next section, just grabbing all the gems around the top bit now. We've got a power up, so we're going to extinguish all these fires. And there it is. Okay, flying back out this section, there's a few bits and pieces to grab around the edge here. And all three here, a whole bunch of gems. And then back through this bit as well. Alright, talk to this guy. Then we're going to ride that thing up. There's a couple more gems to grab up the top. Now we're actually back to the start of the level here, so you can do a whole nother loop if you want to. Going to ride this up. So there's a wall there that you can basically charge through. I did miss that before, so we're just going and cleaning that up. And then we're going into this secret area here. So hit yes to that guy. Basically, you just want to electricity all these things. Once you got those, go into the central platform and electricity everything on here. Alright, once you get to that central platform, take care of that guy and you'll get the Dragonfly. Say no to trying it again and we'll head back to the main level. Alright, there we go. Just heading back out this way. Now there's that thing that I hadn't picked up before. I think maybe it actually hadn't spawned in before. Anyway, make sure you got that. And then once you've done that, you can go back and talk to this guy. who will actually give us the dragonfly now. Now we're just going to head to this side area. That key for the chest is there. So that's all the dragonflies and all the gems. Alright, we're heading back to the hub world now. Going to head back down this path and then off to the right into this new level. Once we got that, we're just going to the right hand side and the left hand side to get those. And make sure you talk to the guy at the start. You want to electricity the dinosaur guys. And get all the gems around this area. You can just go around the edge of that pit there, save you having to jump across if you want to. And across these now. And make sure you talk to this guy as well. Alright, and now we're into this section here. So grabbing all the gems around this area now. And we've got sort of a puzzle to complete. So this is the order that you have to do them in. And then that'll spawn in the dragonfly. So yeah, just to recap that statue order, it's red, green, blue, purple, yellow, and that should do it for you. You have the dragonfly in the middle. And you get a key from the edge there. And we're going to head back outside. That key will unlock this chest here, so we'll just grab that before we move on. That's got a dragonfly in it. And then heading back across into this room again. Make sure you get the gems down those steps here. They're pretty easy to miss. Keep going. Lightning that guy. Jumping across all the platforms here to get across. And then we got some gems to grab along the side here. And we've got a little lightning challenge to complete. There are some lightning bits up on this second level, so make sure you got those. You're going to take care of all the jars. And we'll go through the door there. Alright, we want to slide down this. Okay, we meet the guy at the bottom. He'll give us a dragonfly for doing that. And we say no to trying that again. Once you've done that, just head across here. We want to climb up this bit. And go across the bridge there. You can electricity that guy. You can glide across here, just go over the platforms that are going up and down. Get that guy as well. And get those two. We go to each little platform, grabbing some more gems. And you talk to this guy. Alright, so this power-up makes us invincible on the lava. So just go through and try and take care of all these. Make sure you collect the thing that drops from them as well. There's a dragonfly to get there. You may need to reapply your invincibility. I didn't have enough time to get through the whole thing. So there we go. And then go into this secret area here. Alright, so there's this big thing that we've got to climb in the middle here. And you say yes to trying it. We're going to go up this section. Just move left and right to dodge whatever's coming at you. And we go up this bit, and then we're at the top. And we can talk to him there. So we'll get Dragonfly for doing that. And we're going to say no to trying that again, and we'll head back to the main area. Alright, back in here, we're just going to go back across the lava. And make sure you talk to this guy again, he'll give us a Dragonfly. And when you're ready, just go across the lava here. You want to chase down that guy. The guy that was running from you, you do need to hit with your breath as well. That'll help you catch. Go around here, grabbing some more gems. We got all 10 dragonflies there now. And now we've got all the gems. Alright, back out into the main area. So we're going to go basically to the other side of the whole map now. So there was a little gem I forgot behind the path there, so that was all 800 now. And there was this level that we couldn't get into before. It needed heaps of dragonflies to get into. Now we actually can do this level. So we're heading back in here. If you've collected all the gems on the hub world now, your gem count should be exactly the same as mine when you go through this. So just a couple of gems at the start. Going around here, just taking care of all those jars. You want to get rid of all the beehives as well. When you're ready, hit those valves as well with your breath, so they will turn. And you'll notice a little counter go down on screen if you've done it right. Alright, so we get a dragonfly for that. Hit that valve as well. We've got a whole bunch of jars to grab there. And we got a dragonfly to get. Alright, we're going to go through the door here. Alright, this is tank controls again. So you got 3 bees to grab there. Got another 3 to grab here. Grab those as well. Alright, get a dragonfly for doing all that. So you don't need to do that one again, so we'll just head back out. Alright, a couple more gems to grab around there. We're going to start climbing this thing. We get a dragonfly there. And a key to grab. Alright, there's a dragonfly on the flower here, so just bubble that one. And going through, make sure you flame the valve there. Alright, so you can pick up these rock things and fire them at the beehives. So keep going back to restock. There we go, and that should be all those. If you talk to that guy, you'll get a dragonfly for that. Okay, we got a dragonfly up the top there. And if we picked up the key before, we should be able to open that chest. Alright, hit the valve there and talk to this guy. A couple more gems to grab around the edge there. And a secret area that we can go into. Okay, so this is another like sliding challenge. Just work your way down here. And there we go. We get a dragonfly for doing that. That should be all 10 dragonflies. Alright, once we've done that, there's just a few gems to grab around here. So a couple on the flowers here. And into this tunnel. And that should be all 800 and level done. So now we've done that, that's all the levels in the game. We basically just have to go to the final boss now and defeat that. So head back here. Final boss is in this main area just down there. So you should have full totals on all of your atlas. So just make sure you got that there. There we go. When you're ready, jump in. Alright, so we'll come across Ripto here. So he'll activate that shield there. And basically just keep flaming him. You'll keep running away. When they get small enough, you can flame them again to deal some damage. You'll get bigger and he activates a fire thing, so you've got to use your ice against that. There we go, and then ice him again. Now we get bigger again. So in this phase, you've got to use your lightning against him. So you're really trying to hit his club there in that phase. Alright, so transform back into normal Ripto. And then you'll get the ending cutscene, which I won't spoil, and that'll be the end of the game at that point. So that's it, you should have all 100% now, and I hope you found this very useful. Don't forget that if you've beaten Ripto, you can go back and use that clicking both analog sticks trick to find any hidden gems. But if you have them all, congratulations. That's going to be it for this video, and thanks so much for watching.